Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Plum Wild Recap. I am your host, as always, driver of the number 5 Apex Industries D. Keefe Speed, Knowles Race Parts and Bodies machine in the iRacing World of Outlaws Pro Series presented by Buttkicker. And to my right, your left, whatever, as always, the driver of the number 21 Apex Industries D. Keefe Speed machine,
Hello.
Damian Kiefer, my co-host. How are you doing today, Keefe? How are we feeling?
We're making it. We're making it. We got 9 toes working properly. We're doing good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
9? Only 9?
Only 9, but it's manageable.
Yeah. Okay, well, let me get this fixed right here. Okay. Everything should line up correct. All right, so, well, it's Tuesday. Last night was the second round at Fairbury. Rough night for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of an off night for you. Started off decent though. Like
I mean, it all starts with qualifying, and I knew pretty much from the practice session and all the testing before. I don't have it at this track like some other folks do. So, I was kind of down from the beginning. I knew it wasn't going to be a great night for me, so I was just trying to salvage as much as I could. So, but you on the other hand, you were feeling pretty good, weren't you? Decent.
going into it, I was so confident, and I think the confidence was what killed me. Completely. I mean, murdered qualifying. Started off on my outlap. I hit the wall on my outlap in 3 and 4. I go through 1 and 2. I feel great. I'm entering 3 and 4, and then it actually popped up, said abnormal lap, and I was like,
That confused you.
It confused me, and I was like, I don't want to risk it and not count.
Yeah.
So I reset, and then I completely botched it, and then we had to hustle it the rest of the night.
Did you botch both corners, or was it just 1 and 2, or what?
3 and 4. We went from the tires to the outside wall in like 2 seconds.
Ooh.
Big tight.
That is tough. Yeah. So
Yep.
I felt decent about my lap. Like, I don't know. I went out my first lap, and I knew that I had just kind of missed the bottom. So I reset. And in the second lap, I felt a little better in 1 and 2. And then 3 and 4, I felt fine. But I wasn't comfortable enough to really hustle the car as much as I needed to, as hard as I needed to. So I actually qualified 20th. You qualified 30th. So definitely had an uphill battle.
Rough start.
Yeah, a bit of a rough start. But some pre-event notes for the entirety of it. The track state was, we talked about it on the last episode, but they determined 55% for practice. We had like 2 minutes of practice, and then that 55%, all that was going to carry over throughout the LCQs, and then they reset it to, I believe, 15% for the warm-up. I think only 1 minute of warm-up time, and then the feature race was on that. So we kind of knew somewhere between 40 and 60%, and we had figured out it was definitely going to be qualifying on the bottom. And I mean, we practiced for that, but it's just, everything just feels so wildly different that it wasn't really much time to really get
Nathan
that.
should have been on it about 2 weeks ago at Fairbury.
Yeah.
Run the bottom, not
Yeah.
the push piece, but the bottom. But you were digging in the heat race. It's
Yeah.
just you don't. It's like you lose your mind there almost for a lap for just qualifying.
Yeah, it is. Qualifying is so important, and we talk about it, all the time, and it's important in other events and other races, whether it's hosted or officials. But whenever it comes to like Pro Series, qualifying is so important. But so going into Heat 1, You had Majulis qualified quick time, starting on the pole at heat 1. I mean, the 127 doing 127 things. He won that heat. Dylan Wilson up 4 spots from 8th to the transfer. What all did you see? Anything of note in heat 1 there?
Wilson looked really. I think he was further back than what he should have been. He was rolling there, then got in the wall a few times, got tangled up.
He was battling with somebody, like he was on the inside, somebody was on the outside, and they swapped. Wasn't it Herbert?
I think it was.
They were like the only two up there on the wall.
And they were rolling up there, just couldn't get 2 clean laps in a row pretty well. Other than that, Blake and Everett in the top 3 were rolling on the bottom and kind of
I think it was Augustine and Steele.
Yeah, staying smooth down there, and it's hard to get past them. Other than that, I think there was a few commotions, but nothing really major.
That one was definitely probably, I think, the most bottom dominant heat.
Yeah.
But heat 2 though, that one was a barn burner, and that was your heat as well.
Yeah.
You had Landon Francis, who qualified 2nd. He started on the pole. He fell back to 3rd, but I mean, him, Logan Rumsey, Chase Barber, they all had like a hell of a run. I mean, that was the best heat for sure. And then you went from 8th to 5th. What'd you see in that one?
There was a lot of good racing there. Started 8th. I saw Chase and Rumsey battling out for the lead there, and it caused just a little hiccup behind them, and we were 3 wide, I think double stacked almost, going down into 3 and 4 that one lap, and things got tight, and we just stayed on the top and we're trying to be consistent. Rumsey getting Barbara at the line getting them at the end there, and that was big for starting position for Rumsey and those guys. And I slid Hopkins on the last lap on 3 and 4, got across him and just couldn't get the speed on exit, and he beat me to the line, which started us and on the front of a B main, so all in all wasn't too terrible. Jaeger was there. He finished 7th, I think. He got caught up, got stuck on the bottom early, and just a lot going on there in that heat race. We were really racing there.
Yeah, so you went up to 5th and you were battling for 4th, but I mean, after qualifying 30th, and I mean, you qualified on the pole here last year in the Pro Series. I mean, what were your nerves? I mean, I was in Discord with you. It didn't really seem like much was going on for you nerve-wise, but I mean, was there much nerves? Did you feel any pressure there? I mean, you're starting 8th and you're trying to get up, as much as you can get there.
I knew just kind of what the track was doing, that I needed to stay high and just rip it as hard as I could. And if I could just stay on the outside of people, I could pass them, and I knew I could do it. Because even there, whenever I was running 5th, Jaeger actually was in 6th at the time on the bottom, and he was right there. But I just knew at the end of the day, it was going to be momentum based and to be smart, and almost gotten into Hopkins a few times in the bumper, just trying to minimize the amount of space in between it so we could prevent somebody sliding up in front of me.
Right. And you in practice were really good at running that outside line. I feel like if you could have just hit your qualifying better, you would have.
If I wouldn't have been a complete squirrel in qualifying, it'd have been a different story. But I mean, I'll take it for the night we had, and having to go through a B main and winning the B main.
Yeah, this self-proclaimed B main bandit now.
We dig in the B mains, man. We're like locked in.
Front row, dude. Just you're there. I mean, if that's the race, that you're on the screen.
Hey, we're still getting our TV time on the front of the podium.
Yeah, I mean, just don't look at the little part where it says what race it is.
No.
LC.
Don't even look at that.
LCS, whatever. So you went up to 5th. I think it was Rumsey that got that one at the line over Chase, but they had a hell of a battle. So heat 3 had Evan on the front row, starting pole, and Dez. Did Dez start 2nd? Dez started 2nd, right? Yeah, he started. So Dez started 2nd, finished 2nd. Tristan Lattiser up 3 spots to 5th after starting 8th. I believe he was one of the other 2, other than you, there was 3 people that had a invalidated lap, and or no lap counted, whatever. And so he was way back, got 3 spots up to 5th. But Yeah, I mean that one. I feel like Heat 3 was kind of a more boring one. I think it was like the top 4 were just kind of checked out, all on a line up
Yeah, they
top.
were. Yeah, and Evan doing it. I mean, Evan's gonna win the heat race.
Yeah, but Des looked really strong
Des,
behind him.
Des was strong there. You gotta hit your marks every lap if you want to beat that guy right now. So it's really hard to do.
I mean, do you think it's a little early? You know, he's doing what he did last year with, you know, first and second. And that's all he did last year. I mean, what do you think? Do you think anyone's got anything for him this year?
I don't know. It's a long season ahead of him, and just being around racing, this stuff changes every day. So it's could be about anything.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, these races, I think what really helps him is his consistency and just kind of always making the right moves. But racing is racing, man, and he could, you know, have a bad week and it could really open things up for someone who's been just as consistent to take it. Heat 4, that was my heat. I think we started fifth. Started fifth. My notes here have James Edens came up 4 spots to finish second. That's pretty good. Our teammate Murray, old Blake Murray, he was not confident at all after qualifying. I mean, even leading into qualifying, he was just not feeling it. And that dude got the final transfer spot. So
from what? What was it?
Dead last, I think 8th or 9th.
Yeah.
So
That's
I mean,
wild.
and then at the end, Tomasi got turned out of a transfer spot.
I
think it was Toter.
Yeah. They coming off a 4.
I mean, what happened there? Do you remember?
Yeah, I watched it. I mean, Tomasi was Ethan stuck on the outside because it's in a heat race. I mean, you can't give up a spot. You can't just. It's not, you know. And if there's an open door, you're gonna take it at Fairbury. And Tomasi was kind of in the middle, and they were kind of 3 wide a little bit. And Tomasi came up a little bit, and Ethan had nowhere to go, and he wasn't left at any time soon. So.
Yeah, and I think it cost him a little bit though because he ended up falling behind me, I think.
Bit. Yeah.
But so from my perspective, you know, starting on the inside, I knew I did not want to be starting on the inside. You know, 3rd row, it may be a little bit better if you're 2nd row, but definitely did not want to be starting on the inside there. And I was digging down there on the bottom pretty well.
Yeah,
I got underneath St. Clair. I mean, it's Fairbury, you know, a little bull ring. You got to throw some elbows a little bit, and St. Clair was there, and we just kind of bumped a little bit, and I think I got up to 4th at one point, maybe just getting around him at the line.
You were 3rd coming off a 2 one time.
Yeah, and if I could, so I was there and I was rolling the bottom. I felt like I was rolling the bottom really damn well, and then it slipped my mind, I guess, or having a car so close to me on the outside whenever I'm already on the bottom, it was hard to get the car to really rotate like that down there on the bottom, and I didn't think of stabbing the brake or anything, and going into 1 with St. Clair on my outside, I didn't get rotated enough, and I just slid up to the middle, and that allowed him to just shoot right back down below me on the inside, and then I was just in no man's land right there in the middle of the track, and it was just a very frustrating heat race, really, like being stuck down there whenever I know I want to be up top, and in my mind, I shouldn't even be there. I should be able to qualify better. So I've already got this frustration in my mind, and then all that happens, and I find myself yet again outside of a transfer spot at the end of it. I think I finished 6th. So pretty frustrating. Pretty frustrating heat race there, and I hate to bump elbows or bump doors with St. Clair. But I mean, it's short track racing, and I don't really feel like I did anything unfair to him. I was down there, and we're just racing hard.
He moved you a little bit too, and then you both raced each other the same way. So
yeah, I mean it's Fairbury, and we're fighting for you're fighting for one of two lanes there. It's either up top or like right down near the tires as close as you can get. So you're fighting for all you can get.
3 wide trying to rate. It was
Yeah, it was tough. It was a tough and frustrating heat, and I hate, I hate having to be in these bad positions in the heat and then trying to get something there. And I told you, after the heat, I was like, I want 1 week where like something happens in a heat or a B main that like gets me a bunch of free positions, and that's it. Because I don't feel like that happened at all last year in Pro Series, and it hadn't happened so far this year. But we'll keep pushing and keep rolling.
Holtmeyer wants to send 100 bits to ask a question.
All right, you send 100 bits. Ask your question, Holtmeyer. Thank you for the 100 bits, by the way. We'll go ahead and start talking about LCS number 1. What about that start? What about that start there?
No.
That was. Let's talk about tractor tires. No, I don't want to talk about tractor tires. They're scary.
Very.
Very scary. They don't move. They need to move them.
Where do you send my protest? I don't even know how to do that. Let's be honest here.
So
that's a fact.
LCS number 1, that crazy start between Herbert and Tristan. I mean, Tristan was. You remember last year in one of the heats where Rumsey did the same thing in a heat race, starting on the outside front row and just got an incredible jump on that.
Yeah, I know.
They didn't put anything in the incident report about it.
No, I think it was a good start.
I thought the leader controls it. I don't know.
It's tough. There was a few shenanigans, not really in that one though.
Herbert was very upset about that.
Yeah.
I mean, Herbert was very frustrated about that, and it really forced his hand
up because of it.
Yeah, he had to really throw a deep slider and lose a ton of momentum in 1 and 2 to try to get back what he thought was rightfully his, which is the lead. So, I mean, wild start there. Did you have something you wanted to say?
I was going to answer Holtmeyer's question about he wants to know if we should move the tires in or out. I think they're fine either way because I don't think it's going to change the racing. But I think it's just the middle is almost too wide in 1 and 2. And it's like, and there just wasn't a top last night, which really didn't help.
In the feature, but we'll get to that. LCS 1, JD, after all that happened, and JD was actually able to throw a really good and really smooth slider there. I mean, he just sailed to the win.
Yeah, goodbye.
He was rolling.
Herbert got wrecked.
He did, yeah. I think he probably was in the mentality of like just so frustrated and pissed after that start that it was bound to happen. He was gonna. I get in the same mentality in these races too, where you're just so frustrated after one little thing, and that can cost you. Honeycutt got up to 3rd on the bottom, and then was trading sliders with Tristan, wasn't it?
Tristan, yeah.
Yeah, Lattiser, and wasn't quite able to get it, but man, he was digging down there on the bottom early, and then kind of realized you had to go back up top there.
Holtmeyer's true. Yeah, and he had a good run by being able to cut down there a lot of times because Honeycutt wasn't giving him no slack.
Yeah, there. they were tight, very tight. So
it was a good race there for the transfer.
Yeah, but Tristan got it. JD won. LCS 2, that was mine.
And mine.
Yes, that was ours. Finding ourselves in the same group again. Right off the rip. I mean, basically right off the rip. In 3 and 4, you and I think it was just you that was checked out, right?
Yeah, I got a good start on St. Clair there.
Yeah.
And I just got to the cush piece and pounded the wall for 10 laps.
Right.
And I could have went a little bit harder because Jaeger's catched me there, and I hit a lap that was pretty like right there with him that made me feel comfortable enough to know that there was a few I could have ran it harder, but there was no point. I knew it was in the show, so I was smooth
Didn't
sailing. And
want to risk too much there.
yeah, no, because I just know how I am, and there's a chance that I might just rip the right front off that thing one day. And
That'll be
it'd
it.
be a bad day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, do you want to let's just go ahead and show our Plum Wild moment of the night of the week, I guess I should say. Hopefully it'll show up here. Let's see. Yeah, it's showing. All right. So, Plum Wild moment of the week. We have Colton Zimmer here digging on the bottom. You see Kiefer up here in the lead. And man, Zimmer decides to throw in this slider here that was never going to clear.
Got tight. He said, "Oh no." And then it just collects.
Yeah, I was screwed from that. I mean, you see. Yeah. I don't know. That was definitely a controversial move there. I don't know if that. Do you think he was really trying to throw the slider here, or do you think he was going to leave him a lane and then he accidentally pushed tight?
I think it was both ways. I think there's a time where he's thinking that he's going to stick it, and there's a time where he's going to slide it. Like right there, he's going to stay, and then he gets tight because he knows he can't get it. But before that, he was going to slide.
Do you think St. Clair should have done anything here, or do you think St. Clair was
stuck? He's stuck because he can't cut down.
He can't cut down. He either has to lift or hope that Zimmer's leaving him lane.
He has to get out of the gas so much that he's gonna get free off, and he can't get off a corner. He's just. And you're racing for the transfer there. But I mean, Jaeger's right there. There's a lot of good guys right there in the B main.
Yep. So that was our Plum Wild moment of the week. Definitely that one sucked the most because it took me out. Obviously I feel that way. That was the worst offender of all of the incidents of the night, but it definitely sucked because it took me out of it. I was starting, I believe, 6th in that, so I was definitely gonna have tough sledding to get to the transfer there. Anyways, similar to last week, but so yeah, that one took me out, and then that allowed Yeager to move up the 3 spots that he needed to get into that second spot. So
we're on the bottom, just being smart.
Yeah, and it's not the worst idea. I mean, you have everyone fighting for the top, and if you're starting far back on the bottom, you can kind of say, I'm just going to try to roll the bottom here and hope everybody crashes. And in that case, it worked out for Yeager.
Yeah, and then even on that cut down like Z20 said, you can cut down there, but with Jaeger on the bottom, coming off in the center of 2 people there on Fairbury with someone on the bottom and a guy sliding you, because the guy sliding you is gonna kind of arc down off the straightaway. It's just what happens.
Right.
So if you would have cut down there, you're going 3 wide. The guy's gonna come down off the top and he's gonna spin you, and you're gonna wreck regardless. I mean, you're
damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah, especially because it's just the way that we're with the timing on when the slider crossed on him. It's just and he tried to leave lane, but then he got tight, and so technically it would be Zimmer's fault in my opinion.
It's tough. I mean, it's the first lap, but in the same sense, it's the first lap of an LCS that has no cautions, and you might not get that chance again.
Right. And the no caution thing, that's huge because there's you have I was saying last week, you got to be perfect for 10 laps there, and you can't breathe, and if you do breathe, you're missing it. And even early in my heat race, when I got 2 spots on the first lap because I was just full send on the top, and they wanted to come up, but I wouldn't give them the lane, and that's the way we got it done.
Yeah, you big dicked around them basically. So some pre-race notes. Tomasi not making it. He finished 4th last week. Didn't make it because of the
He started
The
deep in his B main and
yeah,
got kind of tangled up there and stuck behind a lot of people.
yeah. So and then the track reset to what wasn't it 15%? I think it was 15.
15. Yeah.
Yeah. So
We were digging in
definitely,
warm ups
yeah, you were digging it, dude.
again.
So what were you? I mean, obviously, I wasn't in it. I couldn't I couldn't do the warm up because I wasn't in the feature. But with the 15% track state, I mean, we knew it was going to be bottom for a good while there early. What were you expecting, and did you expect the top to come in around whenever it came in, or what?
In the back of my mind, I was expecting the last 20 to 30 laps to be on the wall, hopefully, or even just the last 20, because it was kind of. And I wasn't really. I should say, for the feature wise, I wasn't really prepared to run the middle and the bottom the whole time, and whenever we were doing that, it's you're gonna have to be almost perfect, and then even throw a little elbow there too, and kind of get a little shoulder in there on the bottom because it was so hard to pass.
You're
So
fighting for one lane, and it's on the
yeah,
bottom, which is even harder because you can't throw a slider on the bottom. So, yeah, I mean, we saw what it was, kind of saw that it was going to be on the bottom, and man, Chase in the feature to start the feature, Chase Barbara tried the top damn near immediately
yeah,
and fell back quick.
yeah. He was right there, and I started 18th, and I got up to 10th pretty relatively fast, and me and him were battling
Mhm.
for a good while there in the middle of that race, and he started to get it back on there probably about lap 25 on. He was making a decent, not a lot, but a little ground on the top, and then he's everyone went back to the middle and was running right there through the crumbs.
Yeah, yeah, and I got here on the notes too that that the top five ish ran the middle, the bottom to the middle all race. Like Evan and Blake ran the bottom, and then they moved up to the middle like the whole race. They didn't even go up top. Evan went up top late to try to get a run to possibly pass Blake, and couldn't do it. They ran the middle the whole time, which
They did. They didn't. They pre-gen practice for the heat race 55%, and then they pre-gen the warm up for the feature at 15%.
right, right. Um, I have here Barrett. So Barrett Bishop had a I think he got caught up in an incident in the back
Yes.
with Dylan Yeager and Dylan Wilson, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I
maybe
think they.
another. And Barrett's car, I don't know if anybody watching could see it, but Barrett's car was literally like sitting ass end, kicked out to the left, at pace. And I thought there's no way this guy is going anywhere. Barrett, he worked his way all the way up. I want to say close to the top five, finished eighth.
Yeah.
How the hell? I mean, I haven't experienced any damage like that. I don't know if you can actually feel it whenever you're racing. Whenever I would imagine you have to feel it, but to drive up to eighth, finish
Yeah.
eighth like that,
And he
that's
was smooth. He ran the middle and the bottom the whole time
yeah.
and stayed out of the harm's way. And there's a lot of us idiots there in the middle of the pack just trying to hammer the top, going nowhere. And it was fun.
It looked pretty fun once it moved up off of the bottom there, which happened. I think I remember telling you that it could be
Like,
coming in around lap 20, something
yeah.
like that. I was like, it was after a caution, and I was like, maybe we can move up now. But rough feature for Dylan Wilson. And let's see, Jeremy Steele finishing third. What about that?
Rookie doing good.
Rookie.
He's gonna have a lot of confidence coming in next week, and we'll
Yeah.
see. Now you've done it. Now you have to do it all the time almost,
Mhm.
and you kind of feel the pressure's on now. That's kind of how that, in my opinion, that stuff works. Once you get there, the pressure's on. Now you got to keep it up, and would love to see him do it. New guy on the scene, and all power to him.
Yeah. Yeah, that was really really impressive because I mean he wasn't just a benefit, like he didn't just benefit from some shit happening and then he third place fell in his lap. Like he was battling Kendall Tucker, Who else was up there in the top 5 with him? Mike Augustine, Dez. Dez was up there. Dez with a strong run too, finishing I think 7th up there. Mike Augustine rebound. Both Dez and Mike Augustine rebounding after not even making the feature last week. Something that I wish I could have done this week is rebound. But yeah, you finished 15th. What happened there? Because you were up to 10th, and I mean, it just kind of seemed like you faded a little bit there at the end.
I was trying to do something that wasn't. I was trying to burn the wall down. It just wasn't happening. I abused the right recorder panel a lot, and I think in the right front. I got right front damage lap 1 whenever I got in a little predicament just on the start, and I think that kind of hurt me later on. But overall, felt really good early. Just not a lot of room to go anywhere, and then ripping the top and trying to make something work that wasn't working.
Yeah. So would you say you're somewhat satisfied with a 15th place finish this week, all things considered?
All things considered, qualifying 30th, I'll take it, but not the greatest night, but we'll take it.
We'll take it for sure. Hopefully, I can make the feature next week, but more on that later. For now, we're going to bring in our special guest of the week, and that's going to be the driver of the number 92 Speed Ranch machine. If we can get him to turn on his camera, that'd be great.
Don't be squirrel. You got the names wrong.
Let me change his nickname here.
Wow.
So that he can be on the bottom. There we go. All right. I think we've got it correct now. Tristan, welcome to the podcast, the Plum Wild Recap. Like I said, the driver of the 92 Speed Ranch machine, Tristan Lattiser. Well, you had how are you doing? Let's just bring that up. How are you doing?
Yeah, how's your day going? It's Tuesday.
Not bad. Normally I'd be in the shop, but I mean we rained out this weekend, so it's kind of a chill week.
Yeah.
Chill week. Yeah. So you had a good week. You had a good run last night. You finished 12th in the feature. Did not qualify well. I saw that on your Facebook post. Invalidated laps, something along those lines. You went from 9th though to 5th in your heat race, and then you got in from the LCS, and then you had hard charger 19th to 12th in the feature. So congratulations on a good run. So what happened in qualifying there?
Basically went out for my first lap, completely missed 1 and 2. Caleb told me you might as well reset, so I go, all right, I'll reset. Go on my second lap. It was okay. It was probably worth like, I don't know, 6th or 7th in a heat, and then I clipped the wall coming to the line, and I just couldn't believe it.
Yeah. Tough times. I feel you there though, but I at least completed the lap, but I just junked it.
You wasn't much higher than him, even though you completed the lap.
I completed a lap, but it didn't mean much.
Yeah. So Tristan, you went 9th to 5th in your heat race. I mean, I have here that you were rolling the bottom to get up a couple of spots, and then you moved up to the top. I mean, were you kind of expecting to get that many spots, or did you kind of surprise yourself? And were you pretty nervous after having to start that deep in a heat?
I mean, to be honest, my qualifying pace like lately has been like honestly complete garbage, so I'm kind of used to starting in the back. But I told myself, I'll go up high. I saw that a couple guys were running it, and then they all went top going into the turn 1. I went, okay, guess we're going to the bottom. Made a couple spots and then just held on to 5th, knowing I'd start front row in an LCS. So
felt pretty good after that.
All in all, setting yourself up for success, trying to minimize the scariness.
I mean, it was like knowing that I wasn't gonna risk anything because I was, I think, a second behind 4th. Like after we had all settled down, I wasn't gonna go bang the boards trying to get us an extra spot in. And honestly, even if I maybe got to the the fourth, it would have been so hard to make a move. Like it was, everyone was banging the boards.
Yeah, absolutely. And then LCQ wise, starting front row, gotten little. It was a decent race there for a little bit.
I want to know though.
Yeah.
I want to know about that start. Tell me about that start, Tristan. What happened there? I mean, Herbert was pissed after that one. You had a pretty good little edge on him there whenever y'all fired. What did you think of it?
Well, obviously I jumped it and then I backed out, and then by the time I got going again, I was still with him, so it was okay for my part. But I don't know. I thought he was gonna start a lot earlier. I don't know if I'm starting front row. I want to be as early as I can. You get a run
Yeah,
and then cut
right.
him off, and he like his car like did a little like and then I went, oh, he's going, and then he didn't go, and then I went, oh shit, okay, back out, and then kept going, and then after that I threw a slider on him. I think JD was already gone.
Yeah.
And
And
JD was rolling.
he clipped the wall, and then it hit me, and then he was off. Like I knew I hadn't given him room, and I thought he was gonna back out of it, and he didn't. But then me and Caden were just throwing haymakers.
Bombs at each other.
It was terrifying.
There's a few times whenever you were cut down to 3 and 4, I thought you were killing them every time.
Like I don't know if it wasn't my teammate, I don't know, like if it would have probably hit once or twice, but
Yeah, it was tight racing, and you guys were really getting after it there, and especially middle of that race.
Yeah, at one point Loic was like creeping on us, and I'm like, one of us needs to settle in and just like hold on to a spot because we're not taking both spots.
Yeah, no, I get it. And then feature wise, starting 19th. What's your kind of the same way? I guess you could look at it a different way. What's your thought process starting 19th there at Fairbury and the feature?
Our 19th of Fairbury is like being in the back of a bunch of wrecking balls. It's just there's cars everywhere. Like my dad was watching the race and he goes, I can't believe how many times we change on that leaderboard. It just goes like you're 14th going into the corner, then you're 9th, and then you come back out and you're back in 14th. It's chaos. I mean, last week I got wrecked on lap 1 and just killed my entire race. So I was just like, okay, well, be smart for the first 25. And there was every time there was a crash or I'd move down to the middle, it would happen right there in front of me, and I'd just miss it.
Yeah, and it was definitely survive the madness. But like even like what your dad said when he's watching the stream, because I started 18th and I was in 10th for I don't know, 10 laps, and then I was like in 15th, and I was back up to 10th, and I was back, and like I was racing with you at one point, then I was ahead of you, then I was behind you. It's just it's crazy like what actually happens in the middle of that race.
It was a madhouse.
It was very insane. Like Caleb did a hell of a job of spotting me through there. He's like 3 wide, 4 wide, okay, clear low, and then it's like there's 2 cars on your outside, and there was none going in the corner. And I mean, I think after the first yellow, I got put on the outside, and I saw you were running up there, and I think it was Landon Francis.
Yeah.
And that was about it. I'm like, I think I'm safe up here. Ran like 20 laps up there, and then just kind of settled in like 12th, maybe got 10th. I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
I think you got 12th. Yeah. Finished 12th. So, I mean, hard charger in Pro Series, I mean, it's the best of the best. So, getting hard charger in that field is pretty impressive. Not quite as impressive as beating me in box fights, but that's besides the point. So looking forward, looking ahead, you've made both features so far. Obviously didn't have the run that you wanted after you said got taken out at Volusia on first lap. You started 12th at Volusia and you got taken out first lap. So that's really tough, but you rebounded very solidly. Even having such a bad start at Fairbury, you finished 12th. Now looking ahead, you've got a top 15, you got a hard charger this week, you got Cedar Lake coming up. What are your expectations, and how's practice been going so far for Cedar Lake?
Well, I mean, to be honest, I didn't expect to make a single A main this year. I went in there like I'm just here to have fun, and then I made the first one, and then I made this week, and it's like, well, maybe we'll make next week. But practice has been going all right. Been running a couple races, and testing with setups and stuff like that, and it's going pretty good.
Yeah, and then racing wise, what do you think's gonna happen? What are you looking forward to about Cedar Lake? We'll say that.
Cedar Lake's not racy when it's tacky. It's very one lane.
Yes.
But there's that small period of time, like if it's a 0% track, like in a normal race, about lap 5-10 of the feature, the top comes in and the bottom's still there,
Yes.
and then it's actually racy.
Yes.
And when it starts getting slick, you can run the top, you can run the bottom, and it's even ground. But I don't know if we have a pre-gen track again this week. I think it's just gonna rubber down on bottom like it did in a couple of officials. So
Yeah,
I'm not
I
looking
could
forward to
possibly see
that.
that. I would like to see it like Cedar Lake whenever you're saying those lap 5. It's usually about lap 5 to like 35, 40 or something like that. And it's a good span, but it's good racing, and Cedar Lake usually puts on a good race. So I think we're kind of looking forward to it as well.
Yeah, it's one I had
And
circled on the schedule. I know. So I mean, I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully, we can all have a good race. I mean, Cedar Lake
oh yeah,
is a good track. I feel like, especially if it's done right and worked in right. So
we just have to hope that if we do get a pre-gen, it's a good one, not a dust fest.
Give us an 80%er. See what she does. That'd be
tough.
kind of wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Tristan, thank you for coming on. Again, congratulations on a 12th place run. Hard charger. Two the old Gizmo's going crazy back there. But two features made in a row. 12th place finish at Fairbury, very respectable. Thanks for coming on. We appreciate you here.
Well, thank you for having me, guys. It was an honor.
Absolutely. So that was Tristan Lattiser. Oh, dog's going crazy back there.
Yeah, I don't know what's Burberry. You're gonna calm down, sister.
Goodness. So Cedar Lake coming up. I mean, we're going to the beach, dude. That's our practice.
Yeah, we're going to the beach. Let's go get to the beach. Let's go get away. Stay. What they gonna say? Have a drink. Have a light. You know what I mean?
We're gonna drink
get...
for sure. We're gonna have fun. Not much time for practice. I mean, when are we gonna practice, dude?
When
Exactly. I mean, I won the pro qualifier, the top split pro qualifier at Cedar Lake. Still not much confidence coming in. I'm just not really feeling all that fast on this new build, really. I mean, not much time to practice either. I mean, I'm gonna try to find some time, maybe tonight or tomorrow, and then maybe Sunday night and obviously Monday. But not gonna be much time to practice, so not much expectations. I mean, I love Cedar Lake. I just haven't really ran it much on this new build, so I don't even really know what to expect. Honestly, they haven't really told us the starting state for the practice. So I really don't even know what to expect.
I'm qualifying better than 30th this week, though. I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
We're getting a top 15 qualifying effort. We're gonna start in a transfer.
We're starting in a transfer.
That's the goal.
That's the goal. What's your bold prediction of the week? Let's do that. How about, let's see. What's your bold prediction? Doesn't have to be related to you or to me. So for Cedar Lake, what's your bold prediction for how this entire event is going to play out? Whether it's, who's going to finish where or what the track's going to do. What do you think? Putting you on the spot here, I know.
What do I think is gonna happen? I think it's week 3. I think the dogs are gonna be hungry. I think there's gonna be some new faces back up front in the top 5. I think the Swindell guys are gonna start getting it into gear, running up front, up in the feature time, and Cedar usually brings on some good racing. I think there's gonna be some new names maybe possibly this week up front, and it's Cedar Lake also, so that turn coming off of turn 2, there's gonna be some beating and banging. So look forward to that.
My bold prediction, if I could give one, if you'll allow me, I think Dez. I think Dez could get a win this week at Cedar Lake. Old Desmond Busby. He's always been fast at Cedar Lake. He showed a lot of speed last night at Fairbury. I know he's hungry. I think Dez could. I mean, he got a top 3 last year there. I believe he got 3rd behind Evan and Blake. I think Blake won, Evan got 2nd, Dez got 3rd. I could really see Dez getting a win.
Yeah.
At Cedar Lake.
He's gonna. He'll need to be on his A game, but he could be one of the people that get it done.
It's Pro Series, man. Everyone has to be on their A game. I mean, this is
all night.
All night. People, you said it last week, but truly, Pro Series is just something that you have to experience to understand. I mean, it's just a completely different animal. Like you can run the qualifiers, you can run Wotel, you can run the Spring Fling. The Spring Fling, I believe, is the closest that it gets to how Pro Series feels. Would you agree?
I would agree. It's just it's where everyone's watching. You have to. It's the results. The results or go home. You know, almost kind of mentality. Either run good or don't. And even if you run in the back, it's not good enough because it's Pro Series. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You gotta be at the top of your game every night.
It's tough, but this is what we signed up for. You know.
This
is exactly what we signed up for, and so we got Cedar Lake coming up next Monday night. Hopefully, you know, with a little bit of practice, we can find some qualifying speed, put ourselves in a better position to run well and make the feature on my part. Hopefully, you can start a little further up in the feature and stay up there. And yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I like Cedar, but not too high expectations. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And Cedar Lake, man. Hopefully we can do well. But I think that'll just about wrap it up. Did you have something you wanted to mention?
Cedar Lake. No, it's Cedar Lake. I got a lot of memories there. I like that place. I look forward to racing there.
You think it'll be better or worse than the last build? I want to know that.
I'm gonna hate life either way, so it doesn't matter.
Way to deflect there. All right. Well, that's gonna do it, I guess, for episode 2 of the Plum Wild recap. Thank you all for tuning in. That's Damian Kiefer. I'm Nathan Waddell, and we will see y'all in the next one.